New coach, same quarterback, but a new passer. The problem is they're both hurt. Just what is going on in Atlanta?
Oh, Tampa Bay. Baker and Vita versus the front office. Both players want to get paid. Will the front office open up the purse, or will both players find a new home in the next year?
The only division in the NFL without a single plus 500 participant. Sunday Scaries with Buccs McGee previews the NFC South.
Oh, the NFC South. Place I call home, but sometimes you don't want to be home. I don't know. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Isn't this a cornucopia of mediocrity?
I don't think anyone in that division wants to be home.
I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. I don't get it. But you know what? For as much mess as there is, that means there's hope. There's hope.
That's right. You're never out of it because no one's ever out of it.
Exactly. You're always in it. You could be, 7-6, barely surviving, but you're in the game. And here in the NFC South, that's what we welcome. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's the only division to have champions under 500, but I also think it's the only one to do it. If I'm mistaken in that, I'm most certainly not mistaken in the fact that it's the only division to do that on multiple occasions.
Oh, no, man. The NFC, we do it right. The South, we do it right. We're like, as long, you know what? It's one of those things where you get a brawl, a bunch of kids fighting. Whoever survives, survives. So it's just another year, it's scraping by.
Talking about scraping by, we will continue the theme of starting the conversation with the toilet and working our way up.
Which for most people basically is any team in this division, unfortunately for me. But hey, true. We take the worst of the worst.
Yes, we could have picked the teams out of the hat, and we would have been fine either way.
I appreciate the respect of not picking first. I appreciate that at least.
Yeah. But in any event, that means that we've decided to start off the conversation with the Atlanta Falcons, a team that you didn't always used to hate, but in recent years, you most certainly have grown to hate them.
They aren't the Saints, but yeah, they get to me a bit there. But since Kirk Cousins isn't there anymore, I'm okay. I'm somewhat okay. But yeah, this team, I who knows what's going to happen right off the bat? The quarterback position, who knows? You bring in Tua. Because Penix, we don't know when he's coming back from the injury. He was very up and down last year. When he was good, he was good. And when he was bad, he was horrible. So now you bring in Tua from Miami. A lot of people are like, when he's healthy, in that Miami offense, he was solid. But you don't know if he's going to be healthy.
Yeah, and the changes with Atlanta, of course, started at the top. Raheem Morris was pretty much dead man walking damn near halfway through the season, if even not before. And they bring in a recycled head coach, Kevin Stefanski, famous for turning around the Cleveland Browns defense and keeping a woeful franchise in somewhat competitive terms in most seasons, in spite of having quarterback trauma. So it is kind of funny that he leaves quarterback trauma in Cleveland and enters more quarterback trauma in Atlanta. What's your kind of take on this hire?
He's solid. Like you have to give him credit. Unfortunately, Cleveland was a circus, especially with Deshaun Watson. They had a great defense. The offense, for some reason, just lagged behind. So now he comes to Atlanta that's got a lot of pieces on offense. You got to be realistic, a solid defense for the most part. But like you said, he walks in now. Who knows who's week one quarterback? It's going to be – I'm assuming it's going to be Tua. I don't know if at this point if Penix is going to bounce back quick enough to, start the season. So it's going to be Tua. So now is Tua, if Tua can stay healthy and be what he was at his best in Miami, then Atlanta's got a decent shot. But I don't know. Like, Tua is just such a big question. One hit and he could be done.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem with these quarterbacks here is because both of them are made out of glass, and Tua's been having some injury concerns at camp. Michael Penix is not recovering the way probably the front office and Stefanski would have hoped. So they really have two quarterbacks who are both starters, and neither one of them are either ready or at least look like they're 100% certifiable ready for week one.
Yep. Which means that it's going to be the Bijan Robinson show.
Freshly paid Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's a jinx kind of situation or not, because let's be real here. You paid him a good chunk of money. He's the highest paid running back in the league. So now he's your guy. Now you don't have Algier. He's gone. He's left. He was, the guy who, banged, got the tough yards. So now if you run Bijan into the ground, this offense is nothing of what it could be, because the offense definitely goes through Bijan.
You would think that they would rely on him more because it was a very much ire to my soul last year as I had him on a fantasy team. And whenever the game got important, they always pulled Bijan Robinson from the game. And like, this is a guy that, hindsight being 2020, you just paid him all this money. Like, if you were committed to him then, why the hell weren't you playing him then?
I don't know if it was a situation where they felt, okay, we've got to change some things up. They were trying to be a little too cute, knowing that if Bijan's in the game, he's getting the ball. So maybe they felt they were, playing a little decoy and things of that nature. But now, if it's a situation where a teams know for sure Bijan's getting the ball, it kind of changes everything, and it limits, even though the great talent that he is, it does limit what you can do, because teams are going to keen on that. You also, paid, Pitts some money, Drake. Yeah. So you better hope Pitts is the guy this year, because if he ends up putting up numbers that he did a couple of years ago, then that's the worst contract you'll see. And then Drake London, you paid him some money. So you gave out a ton of money to this offense. So everyone's going to have to put money. Everyone's going to have to put up points. So it all depends on the quarterback. The quarterback is going to decide whether this team does anything this year.
Shout out Juliana Martin Vlog for hopping on. Thanks for joining us out of the Philippines.
Hello.
One of the OG subscribers on this channel.
There we go.
So, yeah, we talk about teams that, as we were prepping for the show, that this division had a lot of jettisons and a lot of retained players as well. But in this case, with the Falcons, like you said, they mostly spent their offseason retaining all their young stars. Drake London makes sense. I mean, yeah, he's got a little bit of an injury history, but not that bad. When he's healthy, he's one of the best receivers in the league. Bijan, of course, one of the best backs in the league. The Kyle Pitts one's a little confusing, but they kept their own players.
And I guess they feel that, now mind you, Pitts is a talent. There's no doubt about it. Like, when he came out of Florida, everyone was like, this is the guy. He's the unicorn. And he was so up and down that, finally last year seemed like it was the breakout year for him. So now he's going to have to put those numbers up to really show that he was worth the signing. If he reverts back, now mind you, if the quarterback play is poor, you can't hold him accountable. But if that's what happens, and let's say Penix doesn't pan out, at this point you've signed all this talent. In another year or so, are you going to say, well, we've got to trade some of this because we're not going to be any good? Our quarterback situation is ridiculous. We're going to need a quarterback again. So are you going to tank it? What do you do? Like, they're in a tough bind, because it's great to have all this position talent, but if you don't have a quarterback, then it means nothing. And the free agent quarterbacks coming out this year really isn't really isn't a great crop.
Yeah, and when you, like you said, when you drop all the money on everyone else, there might be a situation where the only quarterbacks they can bring in are the Case Keenums and Uncle Ricos of the world.
Yeah. And it's tough. You would have hoped that Penix was going to be the guy. And now with this injury, now everyone's like, hey, maybe he wasn't the pick. But at that point, you went on the potential. So now you sit there and say, all right, we've got to keep Tua upright. So now to become a heavy run first team, now you're going to run Bijan into the ground. Atlanta's in a tough spot, and they've had some injuries in training camp already. So this team is not where they want to be right now.
Yeah. Let's keep the Buccs McGee's most hated team train rolling and move on to a team that's been in your ire for more than a few seasons, and that is the New Orleans Saints.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, Cam Jordan. What a winner. Hooray, hurrah.
That's another one that puzzles me. The Kyle Pitts thing, okay, but at least he's still young. But Cameron Jordan?
I would have kept DeMarco Davis and then told Cameron, if you want to play crazy league minimum kind of money, all right, fine. But, the Saints have always been a team, especially, the last, 5-6 years, or even going back as far as, Drew Brees was there in his prime where the salary cap wasn't their friend. And now they're kind of figuring things out and getting out of that cap hell. But this team is interesting. They've got parts. They could sneak up and take this division. Let's be honest. Tyler Shough had a hell of a year last year. Chris Olave, when he's healthy, is an elite wide receiver. It's just, can they stay healthy, and what is this defense going to be? Because I think this defense is, I don't know if it's going to be as good as it's been in years past.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the salary cap hell that they've been in. And I feel like it always brings a twinkle to your eye to bring it up. But so they jettison DeMarco. They jettison Taysom Hill, their little do-it-all player. They give Olave a big deal. They bring back Cameron Jordan. They signed Travis Etienne, the cast-off from Jacksonville, we just spoke of the last show. So the free agency was a little bit of a mixed bag despite this team that is constantly living in salary cap disaster.
The running back position is going to be interesting. Kamara's back, but what is he going to give you? Is Etienne going to be the new guy, and Kamara is just going to kind of be moved to the number 2 spot? It'll be interesting what they do at wide receiver at running back. They drafted some talent at wide receiver.
A lot.
It's almost like they're trying to be an offensive first team and just hope that the defense kind of can be middle of the road. Maybe they feel if they can score 30 points a game and only give up 28, that they'll be competitive. Excuse me. I don't know if that's going to work, but it seems like they have a plan. And I'm not a fan of it. I don't know if it's going to work, but I think they've got enough young pieces where they're going to be competitive. I just don't know if they have the pieces to finish games off consistently.
Well, and if nothing else, it's a kiss of confidence to Tyler Shough because he was someone that came on late in the season, and his success was mostly as this kind of ground game sort of quarterback. Not tossing the ball a ton, but Kellen Moore is obviously still a fan of him and believes in him if they went into this draft and pulled in Jordan Tyson, Bryce Lance, Barry and Brown, like 3 wide receivers out of this draft to give Tyler Shough some new weapons to play with.
So at this point, this team, like I said, I think they're going to hang their hat on their offense. They've got, quality, at tight end. They've got, great talent at receiver. So it's going to be interesting to see what this offense is. But we talked about this. We always talk about this with, the Bungles. You can you can always put up 38 points, but if your defense is giving up 39 or 40, it doesn't matter what you do. So it'll be interesting, and they do have some pieces on defense. They're not totally void of talent, but the second year of Shough is going to be very important. If he bottoms out, then it doesn't matter. But I also think, he's got tape now, so teams kind of know what you're getting with him. So it'll be interesting how he's developed. But the run game is going to be pivotal for this team.
Rivalry notwithstanding, do you feel better about Kellen Moore in year 2 as opposed to last year, where we kind of had this air about, he just wanted to be a head coach, so he took whatever job was open?
Yeah, I think, after last year ended, you look back and say, okay, he did something with what he had. It definitely better than what I thought he was going to do. But this year is going to be key because he's had the full year. I assume that, he had input on the draft, and we're going to see what Tyler Shough does. There's a lot of questions, but if this team can play up to potential, like I said, they could win the division. Like, they're a tough nosed team. It's just, will the run game be able to produce, and what does this defense overall bring? So there's definitely questions, but there's talent.
On the topic of that division, we turn our attention to the team that actually won this division last year, if not by the very, very skin of their teeth, or as the reference may be, the skin of their whisker, and that is the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, Carolina. I can't hate him. Dave Canales, I appreciate you.
Because he did it the right way, not like Liam Cohen.
Exactly. Dave Canales did it the right way. That's why I can respect the man. Carolina, it's almost like the Houston Texans conversation. It comes down to Bryce Young.
Well, and that's interesting because Carolina's defense, where it has talent, is still nowhere near the quality of Houston's defense.
No, their defense is solid. They've had a couple injuries in training camp, but that defense is solid. But this team will go only as far as Bryce Young. Now, mind you, Bryce, second half of the season, kind of picked it up, and was making some throws. So, last year people were like, okay, well, this is the Bryce Young we expected. This is it. This is the year. Like, if he kind of reverts back and is blah and just isn't consistent offensively, then I don't think he's the guy going forward. I don't think they've got talent all around on that team. It's whatever the quarterback does with it is what's going to show whether this team repeats as division champ or if they take a step back.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a quiet-ish offseason for the Panthers. They have got this all-world wide receiver in Ted McMillan. They drafted Chris Brazell. Unfortunately, he's had an injury over the course of training camp. They also drafted Morgan Freeling out of Michigan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I believe so.
So to beef up an offensive line that is in the past has been very, very woeful. So that was extremely smart to see them do. They had a huge season out of Rico Dowdle last year. Huge. The guy's a good running back, but I don't think anyone would have expected him to be, RB1, pushing the whatever he may have finished, top 5, top 10 in the league in yardage. I mean, he was an absolute animal last year. He goes off, gets some money from Pittsburgh. They bring in A.J. Dillon, a former cast-off from the Packers. I feel like this is a little bit of a downgrade. So, I mean, this offense that Bryce is supposed to have a lot of weapons on, all of a sudden, between injuries and swapping out free agents, is there going to be a growing pain for him? Is maybe defense keying too much on Tet?
I think it comes down the run game. I think, especially for Bryce, the run game. If they had kept Rico, I think maybe you overpay for him a little bit to keep that continuity going. But now, yeah, you bring in You bring in the cast off from Green Bay, AJ. He was a horrible, but I don't think he's going to give you Rico numbers. I don't know. Maybe he has a resurgent year. Maybe he all of a sudden, you get that one player that signs and just all of a sudden it's like, wow, we remember what he was for. Because basically he's known for his quads, He's known for his, they call him Quadzilla, But
similar to Rico Dottle. Almost like they're repeating the same script. Or hoping to.
Yeah, exactly. They were thinking maybe we can get the same kind of production at a cheaper rate. I don't know if you can. So I think for Bryce Young, the run game is so important. It helped him last year, kept a lot of pressure off of him. He was able, when he was able to step back and throw, it wasn't the pressure that he had to be the guy all the time. So now you've got to hope that your run game can continue to give him that kind of support. And you've got these wide receivers and all that. But if Bryce isn't clicking or the offensive line kind of falters, you're no better than you were 2-3 years ago.
Do you think with the way Bryce played down the stretch and even in a spirited loss against the Rams in the postseason, do you think that his seat is still as warm as CJ Stroud's, or does he have a little bit more of a longer leash because the most recent memories have been playing a little bit better than CJ Stroud has been?
I think because of where the teams finished last year, I think Bryce does get a little extra leash because the expectation, I think, is different. I think everyone sees CJ up here, especially after that rookie year. It was like CJ was the guy. Everyone thought he was going to take that next step and was going to be out of this world. Bryce kind of just, but the team as a whole in Carolina wasn't that great either. So it was like, all right, well, this is the expectation. He doesn't have much around him. The end of last year, Bryce finally clicked for him, and he was performing as well. The talk of him being, undersized and everything was kind of pushed to the side, even though that is still kind of a conversation that's kind of sitting in the back of everybody's mind. But no, I think for sure CJ Stroud, his seat is way hotter.
It's almost like this inverted XY axis thing where CJ Stroud was so high and it's been a steady decline since, and then Bryce Young was in the basement. And it's been, even if it's not stupendous, a steady improvement.
Exactly. And for how up and down CJ was last year, they were in the they were pretty much they could have taken out New England. They could have. But he unfortunately decided to throw the ball to everyone else on the yard except to who he needed to. And I think people kind of had a limited expectation of what Carolina was going to be. And Bryce finally kind of woke everybody up to say, hey, man, I've got talent too. Here's what I can do. Now he needs to take that next step this year.
Well, Bucks McGee, are you ready to talk about this pièce de résistance, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Oh, yeah, man. The greatest heartburn in all of the NFL. Yeah.
Heartburn.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So before we run down the crib notes of a very, very active offseason for Tampa Bay, we'll keep things very fresh and topical because they've been in the news or at least in the NFL news for the wrong reasons. You don't want to be in the news when you're trying to manage a franchise, and that is contracts. Baker Mayfield needed an extension. He wanted some exorbitant amount of money. His numbers certainly have been in an upper echelon at times, and they could not come to an agreement. And poof, out of the blue, Vita Vea all of a sudden decides he's the unhappy camper and wants to explore trades. So what is the latest you've got from the ground there in Central Florida? Why are these two very pivotal players for the Bucs causing issues with their progression towards the start of the season?
All right, let's start with Vea. I love Vea, love him to death. But little bit of an injury bug last year. He's last year the deal. He's looking for money as any player would. At this point, from what you hear and read and such, it could be to the point where he just ends up being traded. And I think maybe that's what you do. I think you sit there and say, okay, now mind you, the guy's still an elite nose tackle. There's no doubt about it. The guy's talented beyond belief. But at this point, if money is that much of an issue, and you got to sign your quarterback, let's be realistic. If you're picking one or the other, your quarterback's getting the money. If you can get some good draft picks and some good decent players, then you got to do what you got to do. You can't let this hang over your head over the season, because at some point he's probably saying, I don't even want to be here anymore. So Vea's Vea. I wish he would stay, but if he thinks he's getting top 5 D-tackle type money, it's not going to happen. He's not getting Jalen Carter money. It's just not going to happen. Unfortunately, he's not that young, and Jalen Carter is just something. He's just unbelievably talented. He's not getting that money. Now, the Baker situation is I think it's one of those deals where it's a pissing contest. It's just what this has become. I guess they offered Baker 2 years at $50+ million a year, and Baker wanted more years, which I can understand. Two years is kind of a slap, for what he's done. And let's be honest, Baker played hurt last year. It's fact. The guy was beat up throughout the season trying to keep this team afloat because the defense was just putrid beyond belief. Everyone remembers 3rd and 24 against Atlanta, which probably sealed the fate of this team, not only playoff wise, but with Mike Evans. Everyone knows it. So at this point, Baker said that once training camp started, he wasn't talking contract. And so once, Baker does his great interview with ESPN, lo and behold, it comes out, what the numbers were and this and that. There's a lot of scenarios that could happen. Baker could end up going and being franchise tagged, making $47 million a year. He may say, okay, fine, I'll play under the tag, and they end up coming up with a deal after that. It would all depend on what happens this year and what Baker does. The other option is a team could end up being quarterback needy, and if they want to give up a little extra for Baker, the Bucs could end up trading him, get those draft picks, and then hope and pray you can package something and get, because you're going to have to get up at least in the top 7 to get a legit quarterback. If you're looking at the quarterbacks this year, if they were picking where they were last year at 15, I don't know what you're getting. And free agency is horrible. Like literally, free agency is horrible coming up this year.
The other reason why 2 years is a slap in the face is because that's the type of deal reserved for older guys. Baker's not that old. So 2 years for a still relatively young or in your prime type of quarterback is okay, we're going to do this and then we're just going to do it again in 2 years.
It's almost like
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's almost like it's another prove it contract, and he's shown what he can do. Let's take that game against the Niners where literally he fought off Bosa and ended up pulling off first down. He's got the heart. I think with Baker, if the defense can be better than a little better than middle of the road defense, that last year would have went totally different. But when the defense is failing and the offense has got to keep the team on the field, your quarterback's going to get hurt. Baker plays with a lot of emotion, and he will try to do anything and everything. Unfortunately, it's not going to work, and it didn't work last year. So it's going to come down to what this defense does for Tampa. They've starting off with Ruben Bain. I think he was a steal at 15. Yeah. So I think they picked up some pieces this year. They could be solid, but at the end of the day, I think what happens is Baker will play through this year. He'll probably play just as good, if not better, than he did last year. And the Bucs will end up franchising and probably giving him a deal because there's nothing out there.
Yeah, and on the topic of Ruben Bain, a pretty active offseason for the Bucs, and a fairly prevalent note in their offseason improvements was shoring up a defense that has left something to be desired of late. So, like you said, Ruben Bain falls to them in the draft. They have to bid adieu to Levante David in retirement, sailing off into the sunset. They also, not on defense, but they also have to bid adieu to Mike Evans. maybe a little say goodbye too early rather than too late. So you have two Tampa Bay legends on their way, seeing themselves out the door. They bring in Kenny Gainwell, who had a bit of a resurgence in Pittsburgh, being a third down reception hog type of back. They re-up Cade Otton. I know you're a big Cade Otton fan. And although I don't necessarily know if it's a bump to the defense because the linebacking core was so poor, but because you lose, because he basically just replaces Levante David, and that is the addition of Alex Anzalone from Detroit.
I like the signing of Anzalone. I think he's hard-nosed. He's tough. Yeah, he's not like 27, 28, but I still think he can command that defense and be a pivotal part. I think the key to this defense is going to be the pass rush. I think also when it comes to the secondary, Zion McCullough has to. He's going to be the number one corner. He's got to do something. There's quality pieces on this defense. They just have to play well. The problem with the defense last year was teams were able to convert on third and longs, and the linebackers. Even though Levante still was able to go sideline to sideline, just as good as most linebackers in the league, the second or third guys in there just couldn't do it. So it's going to be interesting if they can, get the push on quarterback. Yaya Diaby's he's got to be the guy. He's got to be great too. So there are players on this team that are solid defensively. It's just that they've got to be able to put it together.
Expecting a ton of pass rush, and I believe you were one to get a little annoyed at Todd Bowles' propensity to blitz and do nothing but blitz.
And now, mind you, I understand, there's a time you want to blitz and things of that nature. Let's not forget the Rams playoff game, zero blitz and such like that. But I also think you have to know what you have. And if what you have can't handle a blitz, then don't do it. And like I said, if you're not getting that pressure on the quarterback, your middle of the field is just it's anyone's completing those passes, and that's just been the problem. And this is Todd's year. He either figures it out or he's gone. Like, let's be real. There's no way if this defense plays like it did last year that he keeps his job. Let's be real. And he knows that. So they've got to be able to figure this out. This can't be a team that scores 32, 33 points and gives up 40. Like, it can't happen. They can't be the Bungles of the NFC South. Can't happen. So we're going to find out what Todd does with this defense, because if you see 4 or 5 games in and this is a mess, it could be an early season retirement for Todd.
This is the hottest Todd Bowles seat has ever been. Buccs McGee.
Yeah, because think about it. He inherited a Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
And, he's won some division titles. Yeah, that's great. But at this point, the question now becomes, has Todd's voice become basically blah? Do we need somebody else? And it's the truth. Like, you get some coaches who can only take a team so far, and they need a new voice. And that's not to take anything away from Todd. When he was strictly a defensive coordinator, he was great. It was his scheme that, beat the hell out of the Chiefs in that Super Bowl. But let's be honest, like, as a head coach, yeah, he's been better than he was with the Jets. But, you've got all this talent. Guys have left. There's issues here. If they can't win the division this year, he's going to be gone. He's going to be gone. I think it's division or bust for Todd Bowles.
Yeah, when it boils down to it, the worst thing you want to be is 9-8, 8-9, 7-10, because you're probably not going to be in contention for a Super Bowl, and you're not going to get a quality, impactful draft pick either.
No, so whatever Todd does with this team directly affects where the quarterback goes and everything else. So, yeah, just got my Tums, and we'll see what happens.
Tums. All right, Bucks thingy, the moment everyone's been waiting for. We'll rip through schedule roulette.
Everyone's 8 and 9. It's just whoever wins in division. That's what this is.
Well, that's why we put it on paper. Let's see if it comes down to that.
All right, let's go. Let's roll.
Reverse order from our headlines. We resume with your Bucks Week 1 at Cincinnati. You've invoked the Bungles a few times in the last half an hour.
I and the Bengals have they shored up the defense. I give them credit. They've got Chase and Joey there, but I think Baker is going to be playing with a little fire. I think this game's going to be entertaining. I'm taking Tampa.
Woo! Your home opener, another matchup against the AFC North, and that is the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, give me 2-0. Give me 2-0. Give me Todd's seat is cooled. It's frozen now.
It's frozen. That was the first of 3 home games in a row. The first 2 against the AFC North. Now they're against the NFC North. The first one is the Minnesota Vikings.
Ooh, that's going to be entertaining. I like that The Vikings defense is always interesting. We beat the Vikings last year. I'm liking 3-0. I'm feeling feisty.
Oh.
I'm feeling feisty. 3-0.
Roulette's getting hot. All right. The roads could be a little more tumultuous. The next one is another NFC North opponent, and it's also at home, and it is the Green Bay Packers.
Ooh. I believe Micah isn't going to be back to week 6, and their defense has been kind of rough since he's been gone. 4-0 is looking quite rosy.
4-0, Bucks McGee. 4-0.
And now this is where it all goes to hell. Goes to hell.
Well, I'll be interested to know how you feel about going to hell on a short week, going into Big D to play the Cowboys.
Wow. Wow. I'm going to give it to Dallas. There's stumbling blocks in your season, and I like Dallas this year. I think Dallas is going to be an entertaining team, so I'll take the knock against Dallas. I'll take it.
Next up is a team you were very down on as we picked them against the schedule for the rest of the AFC South, and this is an AFC North opponent, one of your favorite teams to opine on of late, the Pittsburgh Steelers at home.
Dude, Aaron Rodgers is getting walloped. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here.
It took you till week 7 to play an NFC South opponent. The first one is on the road in Charlotte against the Panthers.
Ooh. Wow. I'm going to take the hit here. We'll take the loss. We'll take the loss. Take the loss.
Will you also take the loss in a back-to-back divisional matchup at home against the Falcons?
No, Falcons are getting this. Falcons are getting this work. Falcons are getting this work. They're getting payback this week. I'll split with them, but they're getting it this week. They're getting it this week. They're getting it this week. Not today, Satan.
Next week, Sunday night is football night, heading into prime time and heading into Muncie, Indiana to play the Bears.
Ooh. Dude,
Munster? Muncie? Oh, one of these shows I'll get the city right.
Oh man, the Bears. They're oof. I'll take the loss. I'll take the loss against the Bears. I'll take the loss. There's going to be some bumps in the road. I'm all right, though. I'm all right.
Do you feel good about 6-3 heading into the bye week?
Shoot, I'll take that in a heartbeat. 6-3, dude. That's like a Super Bowl. I'll take it.
Although this could shake up an interesting second half if everyone's going to be 500. 6-3 would equate to a rather poor second half.
You know what, dude? Stop it. All right. Exactly. That's how we started the first half. So I'm sticking. I am well within range.
Another road game out of the bye. Another NFC North opponent. You were going into the Motor City.
Ooh, Detroit. Detroit is kind of, I don't know what it's going to be. You know, I assume they'll have Gibbs signed by then, but I just don't know. They just don't have that aura to me. I think we survive in Detroit. I think it's time. I think we've taken a bit of a whooping the last couple times. We come back. We're beating
Yeah,
Detroit.
I was gonna say there was a little bit of a budding rivalry in this matchup.
We're taking Detroit.
All right. All my rowdy friends are here for Monday night. This is at home, and it is the second matchup with the Panthers.
Oh, sorry, y'all. It's Monday night. You're here. Nope. Sorry, you in the Ray J. It's going down. It's going down.
December starts with a home matchup against one of your favorite teams of late, the Los Angeles Chargers.
Ooh, the Chargers. Defense isn't. I don't know if the defense is going to be as good. I don't trust Herbie, even though they've got some offense. I'm taking the Bucs. I'm taking the Bucs. I'm sounding like a homer right now, folks, but don't worry. There's plenty of games. There's plenty of games.
A little bit.
There's some games that we're going to fall apart real quick. Don't worry.
On the road against Lamar and co.
We're losing that one. I'll take the loss. Yeah, Lamar. Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll take a hit there.
Wow. Week 15, the first matchup of the season against the hated New Orleans Saints. This one is at home.
Oof. Yeah, we don't do things right, so yeah, we'll take the loss. We'll take the loss.
Three flex games in a row to close the season. The first one is on the road. The second matchup against the Falcons.
They'll take us because we, like I said, we'll split. We'll split. So there you go. See, this is falling right into how the Bucs roll. You see? See that?
Three straight losses into your final two games, and your penultimate matchup would be at home against another rival in recent years, the Rams.
See, at that point, the Rams could already have the division sewed up. They might have backups playing, but I'll give it to the Rams. I give it to the Rams. Right now, the Rams are special.
And wrapping up the season down in the Big Easy against the Saints.
Oh, crushing them. Crushing them.
Bucks McGee, you have your Tampa Bay squad at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 7.
Okay, 10 and 7. See, that's better than they were last year.
Slight improvement.
Hey, remember, I could be +2. I could be 12. I could be 12 and 5.
Or you could be, or -2. You could be right on point with last year.
Thank you. So you see, folks, I didn't really homer this. I didn't homer it. Don't remember the +-2.
And the silver lining, you wouldn't have gotten any worse.
Mediocrity, keep it going. Mediocre since 2021.
Last year's division champion, the Carolina Panthers. Right. I will update your Tampa games here, but they start off the season at home against the Bears.
I'm taking the Bears.
Okay. And then they get into their division a lot earlier than you did on the road against Atlanta.
Ooh. Taking Carolina.
On the road in the dog pound.
Come on, dude. All right. I just can't. Next.
I can't wait till we pick the AFC North schedule.
So bad.
Sunday night is football night in Charlotte against the Lions. Kitty cat matchup.
All right, against the Lions. I'm gonna take the Lions here.
Very early bye week for the Panthers. 3-1. Should they feel good?
Yeah, they should. No, they lead the division, but they gonna be 3-1.
Out of the bye on the road in Philly.
Philly. I'm going Philly.
They have a win over the Bucs next up. And then they have a short week up in Lambeau. If you remember, this was a very pivotal game that the Packers lost last year. So revenge on Green Bay's mind, or Panthers running it back?
What week is this?
This is week 8.
Week 8. By that time, they defensively, I think the Packers should be good. So I'm going to take the Pack on this one.
Okay. Micah back?
Micah should be his second or so week back. He should be somewhat better. I'm going to take the Pack on that.
They return home to face the Broncos.
Ooh, that Broncos defense is beautiful. I'm taking the Broncos.
Back-to-back losses. They head down to the Big Easy to face the Saints.
They bounce back and win. This will be their win.
And at home against the Ravens.
At home against the Ravens. Yeah, no, I'll take the Ravens. I'll take the Ravens on this one.
Buccs McGee, I don't think I've ever heard more Ravens wins in the last 2 shows.
Well, here's the deal. This is the last year. This is my last year for the Ravens. If they can't do nothing this year, then they're done. This is it, dude. They're wait till we get to their division. There's caveats beyond belief with this. But we'll save that.
You have them dropping 2 in a row here with the second game against your Bucs, and then they are on the road again up to Minnesota.
Ooh. I think this is where there's some bumps in the road. I'm going to take Minnesota here.
All righty. And then the second matchup against the Saints. This one is at home.
All right. It's a split. So I think I had them losing the first one.
No, you had them winning the first one.
All right. Yep. Well, they're going to be licking some wounds.
4 losses in a row. Heading into right before Christmas, they get the Bengals at home. A lot of kitty cat matchups this year.
Wow. The Bengals second half is always good. So I'm sorry, Carolina. I'm taking the Bengals here, dude. I'm going to take the Bengals.
Wow.
I think it's going to be interesting.
5 losses in a row.
People in Carolina are not liking me right now.
Flex game on the road in the Steel City. Ooh.
Carolina
to pull it off. You are so down on the Steelers.
I don't think I'm going to have them winning a game this year. I really got to fix myself. This isn't good, man. Like, I had to throw Carolina something. Like, they couldn't lose 6 in a row. Like, there's no way.
I can't wait for our AFC North week. Oh, I can't wait for it.
It's going to suck.
At home against the defending champs.
Carolina, I am so sorry, but I don't think the Hawks are going to win the title. But I don't. No. I'm going to give it to Carolina. Here we go.
Wow.
I'm going to give. They need something. We'll give them this one. We'll give them this
and closing the season darn near how they started it with the second matchup against the Falcons. This one's at home.
I think I had them losing the first one.
You had them winning the first one.
Oh, dude, they're going to lose this one. Good Lord. I think I got them winning 8 games this year, maybe.
Bucks McGee.
No,
the Carolina Panthers, 2, 4, 6, 7, and 10.
7 and 10? Oh, man, that's hurt. 7 and 10. Chat GPT has them at 10 and 7. So, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. All right, but you know what? Things happen. Sometimes you got to fall a step back to get 2 steps forward. So it's okay, Carolina. But don't forget, it's the +2, -2 rule.
It could be 9 and 8 and scraping by a division win yet again.
Do you see? I keep it consistent. Or you could end up 5 and 12 and horrible.
Total disaster, yeah.
Dave Canales' job on the line. Sorry, Dave.
Sorry, Dave.
Sorry, Dave. I love you, though.
Oh, the most hated one in recent years, that is the New Orleans Saints.
1-16. Let's just move on.
1-16.
Let's just move on. I don't care what you do.
You've already gifted them 2-2 so far.
Oh, damn. I got to fix this.
They start off the season on the road. 2 games. 2 games on the road.
Right.
The first one is in the Motor City. The second one is in Lamar's house.
Do I think they can beat the Lions? No. No to the Lions. And Ravens? No to the Ravens.
0-2 for the Saints out of the gate.
I'm kidding. I don't mean that.
They return home for 3 straight games.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is Vegas. I think at this point, maybe Fernando's probably not playing. It's probably still the Kirk Cousins show.
Yeah, nope. Saints. I think the Raiders are still figuring it out.
All my rowdy friends are here for Monday night, hosting the Falcons.
It's going to be a tough, interesting one. I'll give it to the Saints. I'll give the Saints that one.
And the third of the homestand, the Vikings.
Vikings.
Back on the road, up to the Meadowlands to play the Giants.
Ooh, that could be spicy.
Spicy.
You know what? Give it to the G-men.
That's all right. You did dump on their chest a little bit in the last show, so
I did. So the G-men need a little something.
All right. Out to Old Paris. They are playing the Steelers overseas.
Aaron Rodgers figures it out.
Wow. So you don't totally hate the Steelers, I guess. Only when they're playing the Saints.
I had to give them something. I had to. I was trying to count how many losses I gave them. I had to give them something.
Saints headed to the bye at 2-5.
Yeah, that's about right. I'm highly confident.
The twinkle in your eye will return.
Now they go 5-2, and I'm like, dang it!
Yeah. All right, they got that bye right in the middle of the schedule. They come out with a home game against the Browns.
They beat the Browns. You don't know how hard that is. You have no how hard. I was like, I got to give the Browns something. No, they beat the Browns.
All right, they have dropped one to the Panthers here at home. Now they head into Chicago. Well, not Chicago. Muncie, Munster, wherever the hell they're playing now.
Against the Bears. I'm taking the Bears on this one.
Taking the Bears, okay. And then they head up to Cincinnati to play the Bengals.
Ooh. The Bengals somehow messed this up, so I'm gonna give it to the Saints.
It's the last weekend of November, so it's like right on the cusp of when the Bengals would have their normal turnaround.
Exactly. This is the last one the Bengals mess up.
Yeah. All right, back home to play the Packers.
Packers.
If you had taken the Saints in that, you would have effectively set them up for at least 4 wins in a row because you have back-to-back wins for the Saints against the Panthers on the road and your Bucs on the road.
Yeah, see, I can't be doing them favors, see.
Returning home to play the Cardinals.
Saints.
And their second matchup with the Falcons, this one's on the road.
Opposite of whatever I gave.
Opposite. All right, so this would be a loss.
Yep.
And then you have them losing to the Bucs at the end. Bucks McGee, you have the New Orleans Saints at 2, 4, 6, 7, and 10.
Oh, well, there's always next year.
You're picking a rather non-competitive NFC South.
Chat GPT has them at 7-10, right there. Thank you. So for all you Saints fans, don't get mad at me. Type it in Chat GPT. They'll tell you 7-10. I'm innocent. Can't be no Saints hate here.
It's all the AI's fault.
Objectiveness right here. Objectiveness.
All right, Bucks McGee. We have to close this out with the Falcons. You've gifted them a 500 divisional record. They start off the season with the team you love to pick in the first two shows of these preseason previews, and that is on the road against the Steelers.
All right, the Falcons. No. Give me the Steelers.
Wow.
Give me the Steelers.
Okay. That means the Falcons start off 0-2 with a loss at home to the Panthers, and now they head up to Lambeau on a short week.
Ooh, Aaron Rodgers back in Lambeau. Not like it really means it. It'll be interesting, but I will give the Falcons. I'll give it to the Falcons.
All right. That was very interesting because if you had taken the Packers, that would have started the Falcons off 0-4 with a loss on Monday night to the Saints.
See, Falcons fans, you're welcome.
All right. Another three primetime games in a row for the Falcons here.
Jeez.
This one is at home on Sunday night against the Ravens.
I'm gonna take the Falcons. I can't be giving the Ravens
everything.
Can't give them everything because they're gonna break my heart. So no, I'll take the Falcons. It's early enough where I can take the Falcons and not feel bad.
And not feel bad. Next up, at home against the Bears.
Bears.
Another home game against the MASH unit that is the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, jeez. Good Lord. I don't even know if Mike Evans will be playing. I'm gonna take the Falcons. I'll take the Falcons on that.
Wow. That avoids what could have been at least a 3-game losing streak with a loss on the road to Tampa. And now this game cracks me up. I don't know. The league must hate the Spaniards because they will head to España to play the Bengals.
Ooh. That's going to be interesting. Oof. Taking the Bengals.
Wow.
Neutral kind of site. I'll take the Bengals.
All right. At home, returning overseas to a home game against the Chiefs. This hurts. This hurts you, doesn't it?
Yes, this is rough, but I'm gonna take the Falcons. You can hear the crack in my voice. I don't know what the Chiefs are gonna be. Like I really don't know. So I'm gonna take the Falcons on this one.
You'll have to remember that you called the upset here for when this occurs in week 10.
I'm gonna put money on this. $1.
All right. 1, 2, 3. How do you feel about 4-6 for the Falcons going into the bye?
I think it's perfect. I think that's just what they are. Quarterback play is up and down. We don't know who it's going to be. 4-6, I think fits fine.
Coming out of the bye on the road against the Vikings.
They beat the Vikings, I think. Wait. Oh, no. Hold. I'm taking the Vikings. Brian Flores defense. I don't know who the quarterback is. Like it's a hot mess. I'm gonna take. That's it.
Another NFC North matchup. This one at home against the Lions.
Lions.
Back-to-back road games in the Dog Pound and in the nation's capital.
I'll give them both wins.
That means, Bucks McGee, you have the Atlanta Falcons closing the season on a 5-game winning streak.
You're welcome, Atlanta. And what are they?
4, 9, and 8.
Chat GPT has them at 8 and 9. So you're welcome. I was better. I was better than ChatGPT. I gave you respect. It still ain't 10-7 though.
Buccs McGee, that is the home turf.
Baby. 10-7.
That is the home turf, Bucks McGee, and we are right at an hour. So please, sir, take us off air with your final thoughts on the preview for the lovely, lovely NFC South.
All right, you three other jamokes. We got to give some respect to this division. I'm tired of being the laughing stock. Let's do something here. But you know what? At the end of the day, Baker bakes, and 10-7 is going to take it all. But we'll see what happens.